Well, thanks everyone for having me. I really miss Lisbon. I was living there last summer with my wife, and that's how I met Antonio and was invited to present. Hopefully I can come back soon. So I'm going to be talking about what's next in AI design from some of the research and the findings. And I'm just going to be talking about three things. So the first is, where is AI taking us next? The second is, what does the future designer look like? And then third is, what are some examples of practical applications? And I'll go over some inspirations that we've found across different parts of the industry. And I'll also show you a demo of some of the new technology we're working on. So where is AI taking us next? Well, I think a lot of people have a fear that AI is going to, mean that a lot of designers are going to lose their jobs. And I hope that that is not the reality that we're going to create. I believe we can create a new reality. And that is one where AI can actually empower designers to make better judgments and decisions, which in turn makes designers a lot more valuable and powerful in an organization. And to understand how we arrived at this vision, we look at what is happening today. And today, now everyone has what we call infinite leverage. And that means that everyone has access to an army of robots. And this army is at your fingertips, it's intelligent, it's cheap, and it's really fast. And what it means is that the world now has access to this army. And it means that people who are typically not coders can now suddenly make apps. People who consider themselves, not too creative can make beautiful images. People who never did design can now design, and so on. And so in this world of infinite leverage, what is the bottleneck? The bottleneck is actually figuring out what are the interesting things to do with these robots. And I think Naval Ravikant says this really well. He says that I would love to be paid purely for my judgment and not for any work. I want a robot, capital or computer, to do the work, but I want to be paid for my judgment. And so I think what we're seeing is, in this new world where infinite leverage is available to everyone, it's really a question of, what do you do with that army of robots that's really important. And so I believe it comes down to your judgment, your decision making, and your taste that ends up setting you apart. And so if we were to think about, what does this mean for the designer of the future? What does that designer look like? I think that the designers of the future are going to have to make a transition. And that transition is moving from being a creator to a curator. And to make that transition, I do think there are higher level skill sets that we need to acquire. And I think AI can actually help us in acquiring these skill sets and assisting us in this transition. And some of these include problem solving. Antonio mentioned actually problem solving and thinking in his slides. And problem solving is going to be easier when you have more context around the problem. And I think that's something AI can do, is actually pulling context from many different sources together to help you see the picture a lot more clearly. AI can help prompt and frame questions in the right way. So if you think about doing a user interview, the successful user interviews are the ones where you're asking the user the right question. I think designers will continue to be the taste masters. They'll continue to have a sense of style and personality. I did speak to a designer who uses ChatGPT, and while he loves ChatGPT, he noted that ChatGPT is just making me like any other designer out there, right? I sound just like anyone else, and my work will be just like anyone else. So I think AI has an opportunity to actually take the designer's personality into account and to actually deliver results that are tailored to the individual style and personality. Number 3 is around making better decisions. And these decisions can be as small as fixing your UI and identifying bugs and issues, or it can be very high level and strategic, such as choosing the right problem to solve, choosing the right UX pattern, or the right business outcome or customer behavior. Number 4 is around being cross-functional. And it turns out that designers who go out and mix with the marketing team and the engineering team are a lot more successful. And to do that well, you're going to need to persuade, you're going to need to negotiate, and to be able to explain to other people why you decided what you decide, to really help in collaboration. I also think the successful designers will be able to identify risks upfront, risks such as the usability risk, right? Will the user use your product? As well as value risk. Is your product actually valuable to the user? And lastly, around creativity. I do think there's an opportunity for AI to actually help in mixing and matching different ideas to generate new types of ideas that we never really considered before. A quick note on cross-functional design, because there's actually data out there from McKinsey. And the data shows that designers who are more cross-functional actually drive better business performance. And so the key takeaway here is that designers need to get out more, need to go to the marketing teams, the engineering teams as well, and be guides to design, not the gatekeepers to design. And here's a quote from an executive. He said, "We used to tell designers what to do. Now they're showing us what is possible, and it's so much better." So there's an opportunity here for flipping the relationship between design and business, and where design can actually inform what the business should be doing. So the new world could actually be something like having AI as almost like a coach or a mentor, so to speak, that helps humanity make better decisions, to problem solve, work on the right things. And I think designers will benefit. I think product managers can also benefit, as well as any type of creative employee, to really level up and move from just being someone who's efficient to actually being someone who's truly effective. And I think this transition could really help make us more resilient to keeping our jobs. And so I went out there and I looked for inspirations, around this concept of a tutor or a coach, and to really understand what are the capabilities of AI today that we never had before. And so these are some features that we took away, that we were quite inspired from. And this is one example of an AI tutor from Khan Academy. And you can see here that the student is having a conversation with the AI tutor and is asking the AI tutor, "Hey, please give me some feedback." And the AI tutor is smart enough to know, okay, you want feedback on your essay, so I'm going to prompt you for what type of feedback you want. Do you want feedback on your grammar, on your vocabulary, on your spelling? And so when the student chooses the option, the AI tutor also is able to give references, so they can actually look at the part of the essay and highlight with examples. Another really great way to learn and build understanding. Here's another feature that we were inspired by. So this is the AI tutor, and a teacher is actually using it. And the teacher says, "Can you give me a good lesson hook?" And the AI tutor says, "Sure, how about starting the lesson with a short role play activity?" So there's an opportunity here for AI to actually give suggestions where I may have missed thinking about something. And so there's an opportunity for an aha moment of, oh, wow, okay, I didn't think of that about that. But the AI was able to actually give me suggestions that I just missed. So that's another one. Here is another idea where the student is actually asking the AI to help them solve this equation. And the AI gives the answer, but goes a step further. And what the AI does is actually help the student think through the problem, right? It actually breaks down the problem in steps of how to actually solve the problem. And that's actually something else Antonio mentioned, is like problem thinking, right? How do you help in that? And in design, we have a term for this. It's called design thinking, right? If we get our design thinking correct, if we understand it, we can actually then deliver better outcomes. Here's a final example from GitHub that I took. And this example here is from a programmer that says, hey, can you explain this code to me? So we also discover a new capability of AI, which is that it can actually give explanations. And not only explanations, it can explain why something is the way it is, but it can even identify the specific components that are involved to deliver that explanation. So we took a lot of these learnings, understanding the new capabilities of what AI can offer. And so we came up with our own very early version we calling AI Pair Designer. The longer term vision for this you can think of as a Grammarly for design. And so here's how it works. We actually launched it as a Figma plugin. And what it does is that it analyzes your Figma designs and it delivers high quality feedback. And the reason why we chose this problem is because we actually heard from designers who were alone in the company or in the agency and the project they're working on. And they didn't get a lot of support and feedback from their peers or even from users. And the problem we also heard is that the software process is like really fast, right? And there's kind of a tendency for designers to have to want things to be perfect, right? It's understandable because quality is really important to us. The problem is that businesses really want to ship things fast. So there's always this friction between quality and speed. And so we thought, hey, could we build something that maintains speed, but also helps designer get more confidence that they're delivering something of quality? So that's why we worked on this. And some of the use cases that we just started with very early in the process. So improving your copy, which we're making better than ChatGPT because we train it on Nielsen Norman and best practices. So the idea is to enhance your clarity and help your users convert better on your websites or even your onboarding flows, for example. We have accessibility guidelines as well, so that your designs can comply with standards. And the third feature we have is polishing your UI. So really catching those initial UI bugs and mistakes so that you can hand it off to engineering and clients with more confidence. So here is a very quick demo that I'm going to show you. And then I'll go into a little bit more of the advanced features that we're working on.
Mohammed, probably we are not listening, so I'm going to show the video from my side, if that's okay.
Okay, sure, no problem.
So at least I believe we can hear it, so let us try.
All right. So I want feedback on copy, hierarchy, layout, call to action, and accessibility. And in the future, I can even upload my design brief, my PRD, or even my design system so that I can generate more relevant feedback. I can tap on Review Design. And now the system is fetching the design, and it's going to start analyzing it against a corpus of hundreds of best practices. Looks like my feedback is ready. This feedback is feedback around copy, and I can click on Inspect Design to go directly to the design component it refers to. The feedback says that I should consider revising the headline to include phrases that prompt for immediate action. So the feedback is actionable. I know exactly what to do, and the system gives me a recommended solution. In the future update, we will actually enable you to update the design component directly with this recommended solution. You can also see the why behind the feedback, which is educational and helps you validate your decisions during discussions. And if I find this feedback helpful, I can give it a thumbs up. And it tells the system, please give me more of this type of feedback so the product gets better the more you use it. I can look at feedback around accessibility or other categories like layout. And I can copy this feedback all into a document or Slack. In the future, we can even export to Jira or Notion so we can convert this feedback into tasks and track them to get them done. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Raquel.
Yeah, go for it.
Great. So you saw our demo, and what I'm going to show you is some of the new features that we've been working on, a little bit of a sneak peek. So hopefully you can see my Figma screen here with my plugin. This is the AI pair reviewer. So this is all live over here. And you can see I have a website. It's a landing page for my product, and I have some results. And the results on the right here, it says revise the headline to explicitly state the unique value proposition and core benefit. So I can click on inspect design to go to the specific UI component. And then what I can see is I can actually have suggestions. So this is something new that we've been working on. And I can scan through these suggestions. And if I want, I can insert it into the Figma frame. And so this is a very small step towards the vision that I quoted from Naval Ravikant earlier in my presentation, where he said he wanted the AI to do the work for him. And so this is where we're trying to move towards what we called a do engine, to actually use the AI to actually implement tasks that you want done, while you are able to stay as a curator, basically curating and using your own decision to decide what you want to change. We also have the why. As I mentioned in the demo, the why is something that can actually help you actually persuade and collaborate with other team members, giving them the understanding as well on why you chose that decision. And then you can also click the thumbs up, which then tells the system, hey, I want more of this type of feedback, and please give me more of this. I also wanted to show you some sneak peeks of some new concepts that we've been working on and new tech that we're looking at. So here is a design of Miro from a designer that works at Miro. And we have a new type of feedback here that can actually identify certain UX patterns, and it can actually give suggestions on alternative patterns that you may not have considered. So it says here, hey, have you considered adding an option to the collapse, the sidebar menu of the template picker? And again, it gives the why, and then it also goes out and gets references from the internet. In this case, it's getting references from Mobbin. It can actually identify the specific UI element that you can refer to for inspiration. On this other design that we did for a designer at Facebook, we were able to actually also generate an alternative UX pattern for this widget that he designed. And it says, consider integrating bar charts or line graph to visually represent key metrics. And over here, we do something a bit different. We actually show a reference to the user behavior. So we connect this user behavior, which we've identified as cognitive load. And if you want to learn more, you can actually click on it, and you can go to growth design to actually learn about that. So this is one of the ways that we're trying to level up designers, by actually connecting the user behavior and psychology to the actual features. We also are experimenting with things like a checklist. So you might have missed certain states or certain use cases, error states, and so on. As a designer, you have to think of so many things. So why not have AI as an assistant that it can actually help you catch all the things that you might have missed? So that's pretty much it for me. I think there's a lot more ideas that we can look at, but yeah, I'm happy to take any questions later on. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mohamed. It was so interesting.